Hello everyone. Welcome to today's video, where you'll be the judge for the stories we bring for you. Am I the bad person for canceling my brother's wedding venue reservation after he uninvited me? So I, 37M, have a younger brother, Tom, 26M, who's getting married in 3 months. A year ago, when he and his fiancée were planning their wedding, they were struggling to find an affordable venue. I own a vacation property with a large yard that's been used for a couple of small weddings before, so I offered it to him as a wedding venue, rent-free. My only condition was that I wanted to be part of the wedding party, which he agreed to. Everything seemed fine. Last week, Tom and I got into a small argument. It really wasn't a big deal, but a couple of days later, he texted me and said he and his fiancée decided to downsize their wedding party, and I was no longer going to be a groomsman. I was shocked because I thought this was set in stone a year ago. I called him to ask what was going on, and he said it wasn't personal, just that they wanted to keep things small and intimate, and didn't feel like they needed me in the wedding party. I was pretty hurt, but I didn't say anything at the time. Then it occurred to me, if I'm not important enough to be in his wedding party, why should I host the wedding at my place? So I called him again and told him that since I wasn't going to be part of the wedding, they'd need to find another venue. Now, Tom and his fiancée are furious. They say they can't afford another venue at this point and that I'm ruining their big day. My parents are also upset and say I should just let it go and still host the wedding. I feel like I was doing them a huge favor, and they essentially uninvited me from being part of the most important day of their lives. I don't think I'm wrong to retract my offer, but now everyone's making me feel guilty. So, am I the bad person for canceling the venue? Edit. To answer a few questions I'm seeing repeatedly. Why did I need to offer to loan out my vacation house to be in the wedding? Repeating one of my comments, my brother and I have had a little bit of a rocky relationship most of his life. Our age difference has always been an awkward amount, and I think he's jealous of my success in life too. He's done okay, but I've climbed the corporate ladder pretty quickly in finance, and I think a lot of girls he's dated have had crushes on me, being his older brother and the more successful one, and that bothers him. He picks small things to get mad at me about because of his jealousy, and I felt like if I made it a condition of lending out my place, he would let me be in his wedding. 2. What did you get into an argument about? He got upset at me because he thinks I don't do enough with our parents, but I travel for my job, so it's harder for me to be there in person. I also help them out financially, which he never considers as helping out. They haven't saved as much as they probably should and are getting closer to retirement, so I help them out with some bills so they can put more in their 401k accounts instead, but I guess that isn't enough. He always finds something to say I'm doing wrong. 3. Are you still invited to the wedding? Technically, he only said I'm not in the wedding party, but it feels like such a slap in the face at this point, and it definitely feels like he doesn't want me there. I'll try to talk to him again to see what the real issue is because downsizing seems like BS to me. Opie added an update in the meanwhile. I was having a hard time believing my brother when he told me they were downsizing the wedding party just to make it more intimate. But that's all he kept saying when I would ask for the real reason. In all honesty, my brother and I aren't that close, which I'm sure is obvious from my last post. After my emotions settled down a bit, I told my brother I wanted to talk to him. He wasn't responding to me, so I said I wanted to talk to him about potentially letting them still use my vacation house. Not totally the truth, but it seemed like a good way to get him to talk. He finally responded but said I couldn't come over. He would only meet me somewhere public, which seemed weird. We ended up meeting at a bar late last night that I like near my place, and I straight up just asked him why he was really kicking me out of his wedding, and I would only consider letting them use my vacation house if he told me the truth. He was getting pretty fidgety and looking away from me, and finally told me the truth. Apparently his fiancée heard that I may do a bit of cocaine here and there for fun, and she told him that she didn't want a crackhead in her wedding. He said he actually kind of agreed with her and was disappointed in what I was doing. I told him if I'm too much of a substance user to be there, then they really shouldn't want to use a substance user's house for their wedding, and I left. I don't really see how it impacts them what I do in my free time, but I really don't care to be there now if that's what they think of me. I haven't said a word to him since then, but I'm guessing I won't be hearing from him again soon. Edit. To answer some consistent questions/comments. Oh, you must be a substance user. I do some substances, maybe a handful of times a year recreationally with some people that I party with. Obviously, this gossip traveled through the grapevine where circles overlapped and got to them somehow. I wasn't discovered because I'm an overuser. Like some have said, it's more common than you think. You'd be surprised who does it. 2. You must have a substance problem for them to react that way about it. My brother's fiancée comes from a very religious and conservative family. They think anyone that does a hard drug must be a degenerate and is going to hell. That's the funny part about her calling me a substance user. Substances are whack. She clearly doesn't understand one is different, but I'm not going to go on a mission to educate her. It would be wasted effort on my part. You can be successful in life and recreationally use substances. The two aren't mutually exclusive. Honestly, pretty much anyone I know that does substances has plenty of money and a great job. Or they married someone rich/inherited money. Final comments. Well, after scrolling through a decent amount of comments, I've come to the conclusion that I'm obviously a terrible D-bag with an enormous substance problem that only thinks about myself and is extremely conceited. /S. Some parts of that may be true, but I do care about my family and try to help my parents in the way that I know how. For those of you that are familiar with Fight Club, I am a single-serving friend kind of person. I don't really get close with many people, and I have a hard time staying in one place. That's why I have a job where I need to travel all the time. I like the variety and the challenge of it, settling down, having kids. All that makes me super uncomfortable. Obviously, I'd be a terrible father, so there's no way I'll have kids, snip snip. My brother is a settle-down kind of guy, and thinking about it, that's probably why he doesn't like me. I wanted to be a groomsman for him because I wanted to be a part of something in his life, but in a capacity I can handle. One last note, I've got awesome parents that love me for who I am, and they know I love them even if I'm not around a ton. They worked super hard to raise us and give us everything we needed when they came from a poorer background. I help them how I know I can. Not everyone shows they care in the same way you do. So chill and don't think I'm an ass, because my way of caring is mostly financial. Peace out, friends. Let's take a look at some of the comments from other members. Someone stated, I am curious. Why didn't your brother ask you to be in the wedding to begin with? You say you made it a condition for him to use your property, and he agreed. Why would it be a condition? If he didn't ask you even before the property was offered, why? Do you two not really get along or not that close? What was this argument about? Now you say it wasn't a big deal, but maybe you don't think so, but he does. What happened? For him to make up that excuse, which you know that is the deal tells me. He didn't want you in the wedding party to begin with. In that regard, I don't blame you. I think you need to elaborate regarding your relationship with your brother. Another one added, the fact that the parents were dragged into it to try and persuade Opie makes me think this was their plan all along. Waited until they thought it was too close to the wedding and too late to make changes. We can't change. Caterers, DJ, and rentals have already been booked. Invites have already been sent out. Family is flying in. Every other venue in the area has already been booked. Wedding parties are usually even. So were they complete AHs and kicked out a bridesmaid last minute too? Easier to assume there never was one, because he was never going to be in it. The only thing that makes me question the whole thing is that Opie is dodging the question on what the argument was about. Someone else said, something smells fishy here. The fact it was your condition to be in the wedding party, to use your venue, tells me your brother wouldn't have asked you on his own to be in the party, and you knew that. This tells me the relationship between you and your brother is not really that good, at least on his side. Why else would you need to force yourself into the party if you guys were close? And he would have chosen you as a groomsman anyway. You obviously want to be closer with him than he is comfortable, and this speaks volumes honestly. You are not an a per se to refuse them your venue, but I think you should rethink your decision. This will most likely kill the last remaining chance to better your relationship with him. So if you want to be part of his future, think twice about burning bridges. Also, I think a better way to better your relationship with your brother would have been reflecting on why you are not his natural first choice of groomsman. Only you know what happened between you guys and why he isn't too fond of you. And try to make amends, not trying to force yourself into his wedding party. What do the members of the jury think? Is he the AH in this story? Express your verdict down in the comments section. The top comment will be posted on next week's video. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. In life, we may run, but we can't hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.